Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Genetic Genius Podcast. I'm so excited today to talk to Chris Gibson. My guest, we're going to be talking all about skincare, one of my favorite topics. Welcome, Chris.
Glad to be here.
Yay. So before we jump on into the skin that we live in and talk about healthy skin and living, let's hear about you and what's your background? How did you get inspired to be the skin expert?
Like for a lot of people, it started with issues I was trying to fix for myself or clear up. Acne issues really early on. We got started at 11 and just nothing we tried worked really well. I did the antibiotics for like forever, did Accutane. I kept holding on to the fact that when I got into my 20s, it would go away like it does for most people, which it didn't. So long story short, very frustrated with that whole experience. I started to dig into what might cause it with things outside of the things that I had tried would work. So this led me on a journey like all those type of health tests do. And I did figure it out. I figured out it had a lot to do with what I was eating in combination with having taken antibiotics for so long. And that was not a very popular thing. Even when I was talking about it in the early 2000s, there was before MRSA, that's when that really started, that conversation about antibiotic use started to finally change a little bit. But I had issues and I changed my diet and my skin got better. I went on a fast, actually. Took a food vacation and it cleared up. So then I knew there was a connection and I learned a lot about sugar. And of course, this is in the 80s, so there's no internet. I had to kind of the slow process. There's good and bad about that today.
Yes.
There's a lot of misinformation, but that, and then I also learned that products, even though they may be labeled for an issue, might not work for the person with the issue. Skin chemistry is different for a lot of people, depending on where you live, what your diet's been, what your medical history is, what your genetic background is, all plays a role, things that we know more about today than then. I got excited, and I think I've always been passionate because I'm into fitness and wellness, because I do coach for those things, weight loss. I'm fascinated that we have the ability to change the physical body so much. We really
It's
do.
amazing. Yeah.
And it's amazing what it can do. And in the medical field, Tony Robbins just put a book out that's really popular right now about longevity. So it talks about a lot of the things that, again, some of us have known about, telomeres, all that sort of thing, hear about these days, and preserving your energy at the cellular level, which is where everything comes from. So this information is getting a little more integrated, which makes it really great because it helps people live better lives. I don't try to make people look younger necessarily, and that is the language we use because that is unfortunately what skincare industry's focus has been. Look 10 years younger, 20 years younger. So I have to use that language. But what I really try to do is help people look and feel their best at every single age. I'm going to be 58 on Saturday.
Wow. Congrats.
Yeah. It's when you're in your 30s, like 58, oh my God, will I be retired in a wheelchair somewhere? But I've been very consistent in my application of the knowledge I learned very early on. I was lucky, I guess you want to call it that I learned a lot of things in my early 20s, like sunscreen and low sugar diet, no sugar diets, fitness, building your cardiovascular system and your musculature system is very easy up until you're 35. You set the tone for the rest of your years. I knew that. So I really focused in on those years in my 30s. And so that's carried me. So now I actually, to some degree, I think I look better than people think I should look at 58, but I don't know what people think because, Jennifer, there are people that do things without plastic surgery that look really good, but they're very health conscious.
Right. That's totally the thing I think is very key, what you just said there.
So that's the story of how I got into all this. I wrote a book in the early 2000s that took off about acne because my approach was alternative. So I did a lot of television because it helped a lot of people that were stuck. And then I took a break after that. In the late 2000s, life happens. My mom passed away. I decided I didn't want to live in the cold anymore. I wanted to be somewhere warm. So I really took a number of years off. And then I started the YouTube channel in 2010, I believe is when I started it. And I didn't do anything with it. I put TV clips up. Like I took the TV clips and put them up. So those did well for a while, but I didn't really focus on it. And I decided, I want to get back into this again. And so I threw everything at the channel. I threw cooking segments. I was on an intermittent fasting weight loss program at the time. And so I blogged of that. Those things did all right. But when I started to talk about anti-aging because of my age, that's when it really kicked in for a lot of people. So I have a lot of people who talk about acne still. I still help a lot of folks but the focus has shifted to healthier living after 50. That's really where the focus of the channel is now. Doesn't mean there isn't something for I got to talk about eczema, psoriasis, every skin condition you can think of from a holistic approach. I have a video on, but the focus really of the last year and a half has been on this pressure people have on themselves to feel and look better. Maybe they didn't do such a great job of focusing on that in their 30s and their 40s. And so there's a great deal of that. But again, I'm not like a I'm not like Pretty Over 50 or any of those guys. I'm the weird one in that place.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a plastic surgeon, though I have in my peer group, I have plastic surgeons and of course dermatologists that I've worked with over the years. So
right.
I talk about plastic surgery up to a certain point, and I talk about dermatology up to a certain point, because there are certain points when you need to see that professional. But there's a lot you can do at home for yourself that many people find enough satisfaction in the improvements. They're happy with that, and they don't want to go get surgeries and stuff like that. So I hope I answered that question. I think it's from like 0 to 100 in like three minutes. So there you go.
No, you did, Chris. That was great. Thank you so much. It's so nice to just hear how people evolve and what gets them to the perfect place in time. And happy early birthday. Mine is tomorrow. And
happy birthday.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 51, and it's the same thing. Most people don't feel like
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, most people don't.
30s, late 30s, I'd have said,
yeah. So I it's all about, like you said, taking care of yourself. I exercise, I eat really well, and I live my life to the fullest. And I think that is part of it too. I don't kill myself with work, and so many different variables.
And you can't be sedentary.
Right.
It's weird. It's like the people who exercise too much, like I don't want to pick on any group, but the people that are super athletic really take it far. Your body doesn't do so well with that after 40. So you start to look hollowed. Is that the word? Hollowed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of sunken, a lot of body fat loss, that type of thing.
And it can be hard on the joints too.
Yeah, you go from lean and mean to lean and not so great looking. So I preach moderation on those things.
Yeah, that's good with everything.
You can't be sedentary either, because studies, the one great thing about the pandemic, if there's anything, that a lot of these medical studies that had been sitting on the shelf, which was it was difficult to get people to do them because they were very regimented in order to focus on people's lives. But when you're stuck at home and you even work, I think I'll get paid to do that. I'll go to that. I'll get in this study and I'll change my diet and they had time to do it. So we have a lot of great data.
Yeah,
that's come out in the last year and a half or 2 years. It's come out in the last year, really, that shows the impact you can have by making some changes to your daily habits. And they're not huge changes.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's a great point too, is that when we're thinking about healthcare or healthy living, it doesn't have to be this massive change all at once. And it's the little things that add up to a bigger whole piece, that holistic model.
Yep. I've always said it. It's these tiny little choices you make day in and day out that add up to where you are. It's not these big. And so people run out and try to make these big life-changing choices. It's like resolutions. We're in March. That's the death of resolutions. March is the month. That's
Spring.
That's the real Ides of March. Is where I'm not, this gym thing, I can't do it. I got PTA meetings. My kid got the flu. My job changed things show up in your life as they always do. And because you haven't taken the time to build the habit to make sure that place has a place, it's easy to go back to your old patterns.
Yeah.
Because life and family and friends lag your changes. That's what I tell people. You change, but you got to stick to it, because it takes a while for life to catch up, because people are used to a certain version of you and you're not that anymore. So that doesn't, your boss doesn't immediately change, your job doesn't, things don't change right away, but they will.
Yeah, they will. Keep at it. I love that. Let's dive deep into talking about the skin. I think we're going to have a lot of fun conversations today. And I'd love for us to talk about toxicity first, because I think that's an important place. There's so many different things in skincare, especially from the female perspective. We use so many, I think there's a study done that showed that the average, I can't remember what the number is, something like at least 30 skincare products we use before we leave the house, which is a lot. And so when we're talking about that conversation about skincare and the ingredients, first off, like, how do toxic ingredients affect our health, affect our skin?
We're in a somewhat fortunate spot where people are looking at this more often and more closely, and we hear more about things. Whereas back in the past, you might not have known that benzene creeped into something like your sunscreen. So that's a plus. The negative is that there are still a lot of ingredients in skincare products that affect different people different. So the FDA approach to that is it's like we're allowed one gnat per so many grains of wheat in your food.
Yeah.
That's really how it works. They test this stuff out, and if for the general public it is a positive result, then what they do is allow it to go forward. Some of the things they regulate, many things in supplementation and certain ingredients don't really regulate, like fragrance is an example.
Yeah.
All the company has to do is put fragrance on the label. They don't have to tell you if it's synthetic, natural, don't tell you anything. Some do, but not all don't. So you have to kind of learn what the things are to look out for. Now, sulfates and sulfides are salts that are cleansing salts, harsh salts that break down oil. So that is one example. For some people, that's very drying to their skin and hair. It causes breakage. It causes all kinds of issues. It flares up eczema and psoriasis. So for those people, staying away from anything as sodium lauryl sulfate or sulfite, you want to stay away from that. It's not toxic in that it's going to kill you as a chemical, but it can be very detrimental to your skin. Denatured alcohol is really drying for almost all of us. Even that was one of the acne issues that I ran into back in the day. Those products were designed because everybody thought oil, too much oil. Right. So those products had very harsh ingredients, and sometimes a combination of ingredients like benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid in the same product.
Not so good. So, dried you out too much.
Dried you out. And then you have this layer of dry skin, which at first seems to help your skin, but then it's trapping oil and bacteria. And then you get deeper acne, which is part of the cycle I was caught in. When it comes to sunscreens, there's a lot of focus on those now because some of the ingredients in them are bad for the oceans. Some of them are bad for certain individuals where they're able to be absorbed in the bloodstream. I don't really know too much about what can happen with that, but it's sort of the Teflon thing. Nobody wants a bunch of octanoxate floating around in their bloodstream. So you have to really educate yourself on the toxicity of things. Now, I'm a believer in that you'll feel it if you're paying attention. If you're using something, I'll use yard chemicals as an example, and then I'll tie this into skincare. There are certain things that if I spray them in the yard, because I live in Florida where it's very buggy, and I get any blowback, I feel something.
Right. Yeah. Chemicals
I
on
feel
the
like yucky,
yard
icky
can be
feeling.
toxic.
So if you're using a skincare product and your skin is red and irritated right away, there are some that are change the pH. That's not that temporary redness, but I'm talking about your skin stays sensitive or you don't feel as well, then you shouldn't use it. Take it, go to the INCI decoder website and look the product up, and they break down every single ingredient. I would call it inky, but it's that's why I spell it out, because it's not spelled like it's INCI.com. If you look that up, if you do a search for skincare product ingredients, it's always the first thing that comes up.
Yeah, and EWG.org too, right? Isn't that the other one? Skincare.
Skincare. There's several of them that are really good. Some of them are specially designed, the sites for people with sensitive skin, to sort of focus there. It's good to just read what you're putting on your skin, because your intuition, your body will tell you, no, I don't think I want to use it. Or you'll say, okay, I don't see anything in there that is a problem. So if you can't find the answer from someone like me or your esthetician, or you don't have time to do that and you want to check out a product, you can put that on your mobile phone and check the product out at the store.
While you're shopping.
So I'm hoping they get to where Google has the menu option where you can, like, I would love it where they have the QR code and you can pull that up on your phone and it just tells you stuff. Sure, we'll get there with this. So this will get easier. I mean, it put me out of a job. But anyway,
I don't think so.
So you want to, parabens are not so much of a problem anymore because they got a lot of focus, so they take them out. So the pressure really has to come from the consumer on skincare. It really does, because the FDA, again, is going to test something. If it's not a problem for 93%, hold me to that. There's a percentage of the people that are in the test, and it's a low level problem for it's not causing death or injury, they let it fly. Yeah. That doesn't mean they're not doing their job, but that's, again, people's skin chemistry is so different and what you're sensitive to.
Yeah.
Did I answer that question?
Yes, you did. Totally. Yes. Yeah. I was just thinking of some things in my mind. And I know that compared to Europe, the FDA in the United States doesn't regulate as many toxins that we have in our skincare.
Europe's very strict.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing too, when you're reading and learning about different skincare ingredients. One, like you said, read the label, super important, but also maybe do a little bit more research deeper into the ingredient if you're not sure. Like you mentioned benzoate before, and I was in undergrad and I did a sunscreen because I have super fair skin. I wear sunscreen all the time. And so that was one thing I did a whole research paper and project on sunscreen. And I was just so surprised all of the chemicals that were in sunscreen and how hard it was to find one. Now it's a little bit better, but that wasn't toxic. And benzoate is so toxic for our skin.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of the, depending on your skin chemistry, convert.
Right, exactly.
When they're hit by sunlight. Chemical sunscreens are designed to protect your skin by blocking the UVA, UV light through a chemical process in your actual upper layer of your skin cells. Now, granted, those upper skin cells are dead outside. What we see is old news.
That's why we shed them all the time.
You look in the mirror, you're seeing old news. For some of you, it's old news, but it's old news. But the problem with the chemicals in some individuals, they get into the live skin cells. They're absorbed further down and can actually get into the bloodstream. And that can be a problem, especially for children, because it can disrupt hormonal production. It's a whole, we could do a whole show just on that. The struggle is you need to protect your skin from the sun. It's the biggest thing. So I tell people at the end of the day, a chemical-based sunscreen or a mineral sunscreen, which I would prefer people use sunscreen. That's
using
so
something.
Use something. But the mineral sunscreens are coming along.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better.
The new generations, they've got hybrids. I really didn't think I would ever say a chemical sunscreen is a good option, but I like the hybrids because what they do is it's about 75% mineral and then about 7% is the chemical. So it's a very low level dose, but it helps that mineral sunscreen absorb, and it helps make sure that if you miss that you're getting, the trouble with minerals is that they have to coat the skin. Yeah, they have to coat the skin completely.
You turn all white
because they reflect.
Right.
That's what they do. They don't do anything chemically. So by combining the two, they're reducing to a great degree the amount of chemical screen, but you're still getting some of that protection, and the products go on, they absorb, they don't turn white, and they've learned now to add tint to them. Why it took so long for mineral sunscreens to figure out, oh, we should add a little bit of tint to these, and they wouldn't be quite so obvious. You alabaster opaque people walking around, and the darker your complexion, the tougher it is with them. So coming a real LTND, there's a lot of them have come a really long way with the minerals. So I tell people, try to use those of minerals. If you really have trouble getting mineral to look right on your skin, try those. We have mineral powder sunscreens that women can use, and some men, for any cosmetics that they're using. You just apply it like a setting powder. You get the protection without having to mess up your makeup. So there are lots of options, and of course there's clothing. But I get one of those diehards. I'm not using that. Well, you could. In Florida, we have all this clothing that actually breathes. You can wear it out in 100 degree heat,
so you don't die,
and then you don't die in it. But it protects your skin.
That's what I wear.
Hats. I wear hats.
I do both. I have to have like clothing.
I'm known for having my baseball caps on in some of my videos. Some subscribers are like, you're a skincare person, wear it because you need to wear hats. Carrie, you need to wear a hat when you're outdoors. So yes, when I am outside, I always have a hat on.
Yeah, super important. Yeah,
I am never out without that. People are getting more into learning about all this stuff, but it can be overwhelming. So that's one of the things that my channel focuses on, is making sure that we solve that conundrum, that there are options and how to figure out which one's best for you. So sunscreen, probably one of the most toxic of the skincare products. Most of them have some things that may irritate people, but they're not flat out toxic. We have now makeup. That's a whole nother thing. I get asked about that. I've done some videos on it, and same thing. You need to know what's in your makeup. Issues like lead still creep up from time to time. I'm like, how is that even possible that you could put something out with lead in it? But when you're dealing with pigments and products that come from other labs in other countries, which is what happened with the whole sunscreen benzene thing, things get in there. So if you're wearing cosmetics, realize that while they do sit on the surface of the skin, some of them, especially liquid foundation, liquid liners, lipsticks, things that are going to make it into your mouth, your eyes, because things migrate, can be a problem. I don't talk enough about cosmetics. It's one of those things that's hard to get the information on. It's not skincare.
There's so many makeup lines too.
So many, and from so many different countries. And so many of the brands are really good. A lot of them are now cruelty free. people still get up in arms about that. I'm like, your major brands are going to be cruelty free in the United States and the UK. The issue is when they sell in foreign countries, especially in Asia, they still test on animals. Does that make them a bad guy because they're selling to a country that does that there? I don't know. That's a hard thing to answer because there are a lot of good products in those big brands that have that issue, that they're trying to work on that issue and educate. So I'm not always about boycotting, because it doesn't work when it's that way. It's too big.
Yeah.
But consumer concerns, writing to them,
Yep.
talking about it on their websites, talking about it on their blogs. If you find a product or brand that's not cruelty free, that's what gets the attention. So that's what I tell people. I bring that up because that to me is same thing as toxic products.
Right. Oh yeah. Super
testing
important.
stuff on animals, and it's not a pleasant practice. I'm older, for people that are in my age range, that was the thing of the day.
Right. Yeah.
We learned about that as young people, and just were in an uproar because the pictures came out of where they had the bunny's eye was all red and all this stuff. It's like, oh,
okay. Yeah.
So how do you know if something's toxic on a person or not if you don't test it somewhere else? They're figuring out ways to do that. They can do lab tests with skin samples from humans that donate those. And that's also how we've also learned how some things actually do work, like collagen peptides.
Right. Yeah. Collagen peptides.
Do they make a difference? Yeah, they make a difference because we can take a biopsy from a person.
From a real person.
So I'll get off the cruelty-free soapbox, but that is still a really big issue.
Yeah,
it comes up every video. Someone will ask me to point out what's cruelty-free. I'd say 98% of the products that I talk about are. Well, you got this on the label, but there's still the mindset that there's a lot of that going on. Any is too much.
Right.
So I'm just saying that because I know somebody listening to this will be a concern.
It's great to have awareness for that. And like you said, it comes back to just reading the labels, knowing the company. And when I buy a skincare product and or makeup, I always go and learn more about the company itself, because that's really important to me. What they're doing for the environment is really important. What they're doing, how they're testing.
Is it sustainable?
Right. Yeah. That's my number one focus.
That's the company culture, because that's what makes the decisions.
Yeah. I was at I won't name names, but I was at a bigger grocery store yesterday, and I saw a company on the shelf, a really big name company that was switching to refillable bottles. And I was kind of shocked. And they said they use this bottle for, I was 5 years or something, and just buy the refill. So things are definitely changing in sustainability. And do you have a resource and one of your YouTube videos that I could link up to the show notes about toxins, where you're going to them more in detail, or you can send it to me later too?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Basically, I did an article, it's been a little while ago, called 7 Freaky Chemicals in Your Skincare. We've talked about most of them in this show, but if you look up, I think it's called Skincare. It may be Freaky Chemicals in Your Skin. It may be the same. It may be the same title. But if you use a toxic skincare, there's some on makeup. I'll send you a link to the specific one. But if you can type that in the Google search bar, my name, toxic skincare or bad skincare ingredients. And those videos, I have enough videos now. YouTube will serve them right up to you without even having to be on my channel. So it's not like you have to go there and go to the library. I start trying to find it.
Right.
But I'll send you the link to that.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah,
because it spells each one out. We go through alcohol. What's a good alcohol? What's a bad? Because there are good alcohals in skin that are
that would be great.
Hydrating. So
hydrating alcohols. Who knew?
Yeah, it sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but they're fatty. They're fat. They call them alcohols because they're a fatty alcohol. So they're slippery and hydrating for your skin.
Feel different on your skin.
Yes,
so true. Okay, that's great. I love that. Thank you so much. And let's shift our conversation over to talk about food, because I love talking about food and nutrition. So how does the standard American diet really affect our skin? What are specific foods that are really causing the damage?
Yeah, it's gross. It's and I'm gonna make this really easy. If it's processed, full of sugar and preservatives and artificial whatever flavors or colors, it's not great for you. I'm gonna say there are people that eat that stuff. Again, everybody's genetics are different and what they can put up with. There are people that smoke till the day they die and they live to be 100. Not very many.
But there's a small few.
Not encouraging that. The same thing. If you eat a poor nutrition diet, and that means it's not rich in the things that you need, like minerals, vitamins, proteins, very important, collagen comes from protein. So your
Right.
body is basically collagen and water. That's what we are.
We're like a
So
shell of collagen and water.
yeah, with some bones thrown in there to hold it all up. And those are also collagen,
Yes,
type
exactly.
of collagen.
We need collagen.
So what I tell folks, food is extremely important. Health from the inside out. I learned that in my 20s. Even today, if I fall off the wagon and start eating more poorly than I normally, I never eat a lot of junk. I just don't. I intermittent fast. So my window of eating is very small. So my choices are very thought out, but I don't say you can't have the piece of cake. You can't have the chocolate. You can't have stuff that you really like, but it needs to be in moderation or rare. So you need to lean into
your birthday.
Yeah, you need to lean. Yes, I will have carrot cake on my birthday.
Me too. That's what I had.
I'm gonna have if I'm gonna have cake, it's gonna have carrots in it. That's all my friends are like, of course you would have carrot cake.
Yay!
Well,
it's the
I
best
get
one.
coconut. It's the degree of processing. And if I put on my nutritionist hat, we call that dead food.
Yeah.
It's dead food. Doritos are dead food.
Doritos.
I love Doritos. I love nachos. When I eat that stuff, there's no intrinsic nutritional value other than carbohydrates for energy in that food.
Yeah.
I love them. I have them. They're not in the house. I will have them from time to time. That's the way you should look at it. If let's say 75% of your time, your diet is healthier, it's fresh fruit, vegetables, citrus, vitamin C, fresh green, lean meats, fish, chicken. I'm not a big lover of fish, but there are fish out there that don't taste like that. But then supplementing to make sure that you're getting the nutrition you need. Omega-3 is super, super important. Collagen, super important. As we get older, things like beetroot juice or super beets, I take those every day. I don't have a blood pressure. I have seen super beets lower people's blood pressure where they got off medications.
Yeah.
That's crazy because it improves the nitrates level in your body. And a lot of people don't understand, a lot of the chemical things we do, deodorants, mouthwash, toothpaste, they kill off bacteria they kill off the stuff that's bad, but they also kill off the bacteria that produces
that are good.
nitric oxide,
yes,
which your body needs to keep
especially if you have blood pressure problems.
Keep your muscles and your blood vessels and everything pliable.
Yeah.
And supplementing with things like vitamin K2, which is very difficult to get out of foods. You'd have to eat a whole lot of
kale.
meat, a lot of meat and a lot of kale. So vitamin K2 is better in a supplement. And the reason that's important is it helps regulate where the calcium goes in your body. So we don't want calcification in the brain. We don't want calcification in our artery. Vitamin K2 can be very helpful. And I learned this from a doctor before it's getting more out there. We're talking about it more. But they had my mom on that for osteoporosis. It did more for her than Boniva and the prescription drugs. Her bone density didn't go up with those, but I think it was 0.1. It's a grade bone density. They give you a scale. It's like 1 to 7. So she started the K2, and back then it was shots. Now you can get it in a supplement, and the bone density went up 2 points.
Oh, that's great.
Really make a big difference for women, especially where that's an issue and you get in the later years. All of these vitamins, minerals, nutrients also help regulate hormonal activity and changes, slows that down. Talked about Tony Robbins' book. I really recommend somebody else's book, but it's really well written by medical professionals that are on anti-aging and longevity. Nicotinamide mononucleotide, which is NMN, is a precursor to NAD+, which is basically has to do with cellular health, longevity of your cells, energy, and keeping those telomeres, which are the things that keep everything operating, they get frayed.
Yeah, they get the ends get shorter.
Yeah, you're a photocopy of a photocopy. And for those of you who are my age, remember the mimeograph machine, or even the old copiers where you put a copy, then you had to make a copy of a copy. Later, you had to come back and make a copy of a copy. It gets blurrier and blurrier. Well, basically what happens to us.
Yeah, that's our telomeres and cellular replication.
So we're now moving into 2 areas that I think are really exciting. Cellular health.
Yay.
And the technology for skincare, moving into light therapies, radio wave therapies, so that I think things are going to flip over the next 10 years, where those in-house treatments you can get, you just have to go to the doctor in the salon. We even do microneedling at home now. You can do those.
Yeah.
Those will be the basis of your skincare routine, and topicals will be part B. Right now, it's
exactly. Yeah.
Topicals we're trying to do everything to the surface of the skin. The FDA won't allow things to sink in. They're not supposed to be absorbed. So you're only going to get so much unless you have a skin peel from your skincare products. They can help. Retinol, number one, the retinol, the high vitamin A is still the only thing that they've allowed that actually absorbs further into your skin.
Into the skin.
Which is why there's so much commotion over the whole sunscreen thing, because the question is, okay, you guys don't allow topical products to be absorbed past the outer dermis. So why are we having skincare products or screens that doing that?
Yeah,
We're
right.
shocked
Exactly.
you didn't pull all that off the market right away.
Yes. Like, you
That's
should
the
pull that
power
off.
of the skincare lobby, right?
Yes, it's a big, it's a huge one, especially from the consumer female model.
Yeah. So back to food.
Yeah. Food.
It is the basis, and you will feel and see a difference if you have a diet high in red vegetables, tomatoes, carrots, red
all the
peppers.
lycopenes.
You actually are giving your skin the ability to protect itself from the sun. That's not pseudos, that's true. It's been proven.
Right.
It's not going to keep you from getting a sunburn, but you will protect yourself better. So when you're using something externally, you are in the best place possible.
Yeah,
so
you have
that's
that
how,
shell created around
and
you.
for men, beta carotene, lycopene, all those red vegetables, again, prostate health, all of those things. Tomato sauce, eat lots of tomato sauce, because that is one nutrient that doesn't degrade when you cook the tomatoes.
Yeah, so true. And making sure you're buying organic when you are buying tomatoes, because they're heavily sprayed.
Like skincare. In Florida, we're fortunate in that we really do get the choice, because there are a lot of organic farms down here. So when we go to the store, organics are not extremely expensive, and they're readily available.
Yeah, because you can grow it all year round in Florida.
Grow your own vegetables. I'm telling you. In your landscaping, stick some tomato plants.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Stick some cucumbers. Cucumber, extremely good for your skin. Vitamin C, hydrating. It's alkaline. You want to keep your body and skin alkaline. On the blog, I have a whole topic section about the alkaline diet and skin health.
Oh, nice, great.
Yeah, so huge. If your body is what we call acid, and then on the nutritional side, you're more likely to have colds, viruses, acne breakouts, rosacea, psoriasis flare-ups. You're more likely to have skin that's easily irritated, contact dermatitis, because you're acid, and you're not going to
reacting all the time.
You're not going to feel as good. You'll feel off.
Right. Yeah.
You feel off.
Yeah, you don't feel like your normal self. And if you've been suffering for a long time for that normal feeling, so to speak, it might feel strange to be in the normal feeling.
Yeah. And the acid mantle of your skin is so important.
Yeah. It's our protective barrier.
That pH is super important. That's why I say if you're in an acid state, a lot of times that pH is off, and you're more likely to get contact dermatitis. You're more likely to have issues with your skincare products, being more sensitive. So it's all fits together. Some people call it a perfect storm. I say, well, it's more like balance.
Homeostasis.
And then, of course, fitness is part of that too. Keeping yourself active. Like I said, a study just came out last October, Health Got study, which they took individuals that had been sedentary and had them change their diet, increase their activity. It wasn't anything ridiculous at all. They did this. They wanted to see if you could roll back biological age, which is different than chronological age, as we see. If people around you are the same ages, some are really a lot older than others. They saw that by doing this consistently, those that did it, they were able to roll back several years, up to 3 years of aging in 8 weeks.
Wow. That's
only
amazing.
Took 8 weeks.
That's crazy, right? That's nothing.
And there again, that's my passion. As I said, that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, me too.
I love that much power over your health, and you really do.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot about changing the vocabulary too. This whole, I don't even like the word anti-aging, like longevity and agelessly. Like, why do we have to say like, when there's so many different parameters? When you get to here, then XYZ happens. I'm like, well, not necessarily.
And you're never going to see a person that's energetic and in good health that looks older. So it all fits together. It's not like you see people running around with this old, saggy looks, sallow, yellow looking skin and
dried out.
And they're crazy active. You don't see that.
No.
So unless a zombie movie, maybe.
Zombie movie.
Zombie movie.
Yeah, totally.
But so it all fits together.
Yeah.
You want your superficial circulation to the aging process of the skin is extremely important. Nutrients, hydration, all of that comes from those tiny little capillaries. And I've had many clients in the past. I warn them. It's like, all right, you start doing the treadmill. When you get about 20 minutes a day, you're going to have an itchy feeling,
where your skin's circulating,
because your capillaries are finally going to open up.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a rush of blood and nutrients, and oxygen is going to be red and itchy. keep going.
Keep going. You got it. That's
That will
good.
go away. That will go in over a few weeks. You will feel completely different.
Yeah, you got to
in
stick
your
with
body.
it.
Yeah, you'll stick with
Yeah.
it.
So that's great. I love that. And so specific foods, you mentioned beets and you mentioned beta carotene, which is the carrots. There's lots of really great foods. You mentioned healthy fats. What about specific nutritional plans, or I don't like the word diet, but like intermittent fasting you mentioned, or keto?
Yeah.
Do you have something there's
Yeah.
individualized, of course, but
Yeah, it is individualized and different things for different people, depending on what they're trying to accomplish and where they are. And I have to say this, if you're going to change your diet, you probably don't necessarily, unless you're on a restricted diet through a doctor, you don't necessarily need to have that conversation because they're always going to steer you toward a healthy food. But if you're going to do something drastic, if you're going to take foods that are high in nitrates and you're on blood pressure medicine, you need to talk to your doctor first.
right.
Because they'll want to adjust, they'll want to watch that and
Yeah,
help you
exactly.
get off of them. So yeah, those are really important. The diet, fasting, anything to do with your diet, it's recommended that you speak to your medical professional before you do it. Don't jump into it. Don't do cold turkey stuff. That's just
It'll make you
crazy.
sick
It
because
will
you're
make you
advised
sick.
detoxing.
Yeah,
You're like,
you know,
whoa, like keto
if
flu.
yeah, if you're going to do keto or intermittent fasting, you have to wade into it. And the way to do that is to begin to replace foods in your keto diet, which is, of course, no sugar.
Right.
It's no
Yeah, no sugar.
carbohydrates. It's like Atkins on steroids.
Yeah.
So you need to be sure you're putting foods in there that give you energy, like avocados and cucumber, and there is tons of good information on YouTube for this. Look for the guys with the big subscribers and look at the comments on the videos before you decide, just like a label. Our comments are our labels on YouTube. Make sure they're verified with a check mark, like I am, so that YouTube's check them out. Make sure they're not like a snake oil salesman.
Snake oil.
So that, yeah, YouTube, people think they don't do due diligence. They do.
Yeah.
Diet changes like that for weight loss and energy, for me personally, have been a huge benefit. Did keto for a while. The problem with keto is in some individuals, it can really make you constipated, which is going to create more problems. So you're going to make sure that you add lots of fiber to that
and lots
diet.
of water.
And lots of water, because you're eating foods that become solids after they're digested.
Right. Electrolytes are key for keto too.
Yes, exactly. So that, and then of course, if you're doing intermittent fasting, which is what I do now, it's easier because then I'm not breaking. If someone shoves a piece of cake in my face and I want to have it, I can have it when I'm on intermittent fasting because it fits in my calorie profile.
Exactly.
And it's still a one-off. That's not every day, but it fits.
You don't have cake every day.
Whereas if you're on keto, you screw the whole thing up. Yeah, you can't do that. It's less restrictive. And really what I think of intermittent fasting is like supercharged portion control.
Exactly.
Which in this country, we need portion control.
Yeah, that's one of our biggest problems.
I have had to teach my friends that it is okay to go to a restaurant, even a fine restaurant, and split something.
Yeah.
Splitting it from the portions. And if you say that, look, we're going to order this, but it's we went to brunch. I'll give you brunch on Sunday to a place we hadn't been in a while. And I said, I'm going to have this and this, because I knew it was a club sandwich. I could take the bread off. I ate one half of the sandwich with the bread, and I ate the other half of the sandwich without the bread because that was enough.
Yeah.
Well, they ordered breakfast. They brought out these huge trays with 6 pieces of toast, 3 egg omelet, potatoes, and I'm like,
that's enough for a week for me.
We should have split these. And then they're all like, they didn't eat it all because I'm sitting at the table. I'm like the policeman. I'm like, you're really not going to eat all that. Don't eat all that. You're not going to feel well. So they took boxes home. And then of course
then they threw it out when they got home.
They threw it out when they got home because they didn't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah, food waste is
whatever,
so bad.
Yeah, whatever you got to do. It's like American restaurants. And maybe now that things are the way they are, they will get better at this portion control. You just cannot overeat. And that is the easiest thing to manage, but the hardest thing for people to do.
Right. Because the brain, the dopamine turns on and you're like, I want more.
Oh my God, it's good. And then there's a delay between when your digestion says stop, which is a carryover from when we were running the fields. When the food was plentiful, the satiation didn't happen the body wanted you to eat more, pack it on right now because you may not
Eat,
have
you a
food
chance,
tomorrow.
right?
So we still have to overcome that reflex. Maybe someday we'll evolve out of that, but you have to do portion control. You just have
Yeah,
to. You
right.
have to know when to stop, put it in a box, take it home, whether you throw it out or just don't overeat. It taxes your system. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
have, I've heard this with doctors. I've been to medical professionals with my family that have heart disease and issues, and they're always talking to them about that. You overeat, you are pulling blood away from places that your body is already struggling. So it's not just that you're full or you might get heartburn. It's that your body has to try to digest all that food. And again, it depends on what you eat.
Yes.
The digestion process can be really tough. So I tell people balanced diet, the American pyramid, so to speak.
It's so outdated.
It's outdated.
Yeah, it's not good.
I rarely eat bread.
Yeah.
I rarely eat eggs. I eat some dairy, but not a whole lot. I love cheese. So that's where the dairy comes in. I eat lots of avocados.
Me too. I love avocados.
Love blood oranges are out right now.
Ooh, those are good.
Favorite. Sometimes I eat the peel. If the peel is blood orange peel, if it's organic, that's usually sweet.
Yeah.
The peels are sweet enough and they're very high in vitamins and nutrients.
And you can dehydrate them and grind them up and sprinkle them in smoothies and stuff like that.
I make smoothies. I have protein powder if I feel like I need, and protein drinks if I need, especially on the days I work out, because I work out 3 days a week.
Yeah.
For muscle. Those are the days I have the protein drinks. I do hydrolyzed collagen peptides in my tea. Drink a rooibos tea, which is from South Africa, red tea that's got more antioxidants.
Yeah, I love rooibos.
It tastes similar, but I don't know how to explain it. It's a tad.
It's almost a little sweeter. It has a little bit of a sweet and woodsy kind of flavor.
Yeah, I love woodsy. That was like, it's a little more like that than say like black tea is.
Right. Yeah. It's different, less tannins than black and black tea.
So I have that. I do my super beets. I do my beetroot powder, and if I travel, it's a pain to take that. So I have the little chews that are made with raw cane sugar, which is okay for me in my diet. So you just have to really, and then once you get in the habit, it becomes easier. And I tell people the biggest rule is if you don't bring it home, you won't reach for it.
Exactly.
So don't go to the grocery store hungry.
No, bad choice.
Don't ever do that. Eat before you go, and then pick things because I promise you 99% of the time when you're hungry, it hits you, hunger pang. If you have roasted walnuts or even peanuts, or you have even peanut butter, which is better than candy. If you have yogurt and you have oranges or bananas or what have you, blueberries and strawberries in season right now, so good. If you have those, you'll eat that. I promise you. You're not going to get in the car and go to, we got Publix here, grocery store, and get a piece of cake. You just won't do that. Most people will not do that. So you reach for this, have the stuff that's good, and have treats.
Have your go-to treats.
Have your go-to treats. Try to make them healthy.
Right. Yeah. Healthy, and make it yourself if you can too.
And if you're one of those people that portion control, I tell people take the cookie, take whatever it is, put them in little Ziploc bags, portion them out ahead of time.
Yeah. Like I can have one cookie.
You'd be surprised. I'm able to eat. I eat dark chocolates and other things. I eat 92%. At first it's bitter. You have to get used to that because a lot of us
good for your digestion though. It's bitter,
but it is so good for you.
Yeah.
So you get to where you crave that dark chocolate over the other stuff.
Right. Yeah. I love dark chocolate.
It's such a boost once you get used to that boost of Coke. It's just so good.
I love
so
the
good
brand.
for you. And it's so good for you.
So good. The human, the HU chocolate brand, that one is so good. I don't mind promoting them. You say don't promote stuff, but that brand is so good. And they just came out with some chocolate chips. So I'm like, oh, I can make some like healthy,
like you can make
cookies.
keto pancakes. I make keto pancakes sometimes, which are really good. The name of the company. But you can find them in the grocery store. They have them now. They have one that's the chocolate chip was where I was going with this.
Oh.
It has those type of chips in them. People don't have any idea. We've had to live through the nasty 2% cheese where they did fat-free cheese.
I know.
Where carob was substituted for chocolate. Carob, while it's good for you and it's okay,
horrible.
has never tasted ever like chocolate. It does not taste like chocolate. It is not chocolate.
No, I'm so glad that kind of like is not on the scene anymore. Oh
Exactly.
God, that was great. I thank you for all those amazing tips. And I love that you broke down too how you eat, because I think that really helps us to relate. You're like your routine and you're living the life and the healthy skin, which makes such a difference. As we're wrapping up today, Chris, let's talk about a few things. So one, what's the best way for people to find you, go to learn about you? We mentioned it a little bit.
The YouTube channel is the best resource because I've taken the last 4 years and built a catalog of 500 videos.
That's a
So
lot.
you really can type my name in and something, and you should get a video from me on it already. So that makes it easy. Chris Gibson, or Chris, if you type the channel's Chris Gibson Live, but if you just type in my name now, because I have so many subscribers, but there are playlists built into there. If you hit playlists, you'll see that I've broken them up. And then the blog, which really makes it what I call super stupid simple for me, is I took the videos and I have topic sections in the blog. Now it's an interactive community. So it's not like the typical blog. There are blog posts that I do that are written, but it's mostly videos.
Nice.
So you can go to that topic and those videos and are there. And then I also have built their questionnaires. They call them courses on there. I wish they changed that. But the software has this ability to give you a questionnaire that you fill out, answer some questions. There are not many. Takes you through that and teaches you what your true skin type really is, because there are more than 4.
Oh, nice. Great.
It's not just oily, dry, sensitive. It's not,
Yeah,
there's more than that.
More to that.
And then it gives you suggested product ingredients to look for in products to use. And then of course, the great thing is you can comment on YouTube. You can direct message me on the blog.
Great, okay.
I want people to utilize YouTube, obviously, because that's where all of the information is. Not every video is over there, but most of them are, and you can talk to each other. They help each other out. We do contests. I let people know when things are on sale, popular products, because I get that. Being at the level I'm at, I get notices from companies that, hey, we're doing this. You might want to let folks know. Don't get anything out of that. It just helps them save money. So especially certain times of the year, they'll send me a list. These products are going to be less, and don't tell anybody until that day. So like, people really seem to appreciate that. They really
it's true. Supplements and good quality products can be expensive. So you want to make sure you're like, okay, yeah, great. This is going to be on sale. It's great. And I'll put that in the show notes, and that's the youtube.com/Chris Gibson on live. That's the blog, right?
Yeah, Chris Gibson Live. Chris Gibson Live. The blog is skin.
I said Chris Gibson on live. Yeah, Chris Gibson.
Yeah, it would
live.
probably I would still come up. I'm first. You type in Chris Gibson and I'm first. But the blog is called Skin So Fabulous, and you can all of my social media is in the description of every video. Below the video, where all the video information is, all of it. Instagram, Facebook, all of that. I'm everywhere.
Perfect. Oh, that's great. Love that. Thank you. And one last question as we're wrapping up today. If you had an unlimited budget right now, what would you do to make the biggest impact on the planet? The health and welfare specifically of the planet.
Of the whole planet. Unlimited. I would really invest in, a lot of people don't know about this, in the future technology that we're seeing for growing food. There are some really great advances that are happening here about the farms, and that's true. The farmers are under a lot of stress, and for 2 reasons. One, the economy obviously is always an issue, and trade, but the other is trying to produce mass amounts of food that are nutritious. There's only so much you can do. So there are new technologies that are able to grow organic foods in controlled conditions, mass produce them where they're as nutritious, or sometimes they're superfood. They're not having to use pesticides because they're in controlled conditions. So that technology with the light, again, all this stuff coming to light from the light, all this stuff with the use of different wavelengths of light to grow tomatoes. That's where that really started.
Yeah.
It's amazing the things that are happening that people don't hear about because the news just doesn't focus there.
So many different things too. Yeah. I'm the same with healthcare. I'm hearing like every day there's new research. I have to stay on top of it, and supplements, and like you said, light care. There's so many different things about skincare with light coming on the market and different things. I
toured a facility in California a number of years ago when they took you through, and it was an enclosed space, but you felt like you're outdoors, and they were growing all of this food. It was incredible. On these racks. It was just like going to a giant garden, and all the stuff was just lush, and they didn't use any pesticides.
That's the way of the future. I think we're going to see.
They had they had something, some sort of salt in the water spray that was good for the plant, but it washed any insects away. It
Mhm.
kept insect eggs from hatching. So they
Right.
were able to do this, and it was huge. We went through it on a Jeep. This is how big
Whoa.
this place was. So we're getting there. I like to focus on the positives. There's a lot of negative stuff, but there's always negative stuff. There's been negative stuff since I've been on the earth. I was thinking about that the other day, all the things that go on. And I'm like, this stuff has been going on. So you have to start to decide, I want to focus my energy and my money, in this case, to your question, where can I make the biggest impact to move us
Right.
all forward?
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
humans are going to do weird human things always.
Right. It's just like
So
the
I
human
can't
nature.
personally, yeah, I can't personally, I've learned a lot about focusing on what I can personally do rather than
Mhm.
worrying about something I can't personally affect.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, Chris. It's, and food is, we talked a lot about food today. And I think food is our body's health, right? Food is
Oh, it's
medicine. Food is our
everything.
future and our future for our children and the planet.
Yeah, you don't have to go too far back. Visit some museums out west from when we were moving as a country to the west without food, and the people
Mhm.
were like 4 feet tall. They were,
Right.
growth was stunted. They didn't
Yeah.
live past 30 or
Right.
40 years old. That was old age.
Yeah. And yeah, people are
Crazy stuff.
living a lot
Yeah. So
differently
diet,
now. Yeah.
yes, diet has a lot to do with your health and how long you live.
Yeah, totally. And grow your own food. I think that
Yeah, I
is
did. That's
talked
the easiest
yeah,
way. That's
so
the
easy.
easiest
And if
way.
you don't have space, so you can do so little or so much with such little space, or talk to your neighbors, have something,
Arrow
everybody each.
garden. Get an
Yeah.
arrow garden.
Yeah. I have a
Yeah, those,
hydroponic system in our
yeah,
house and
yeah,
we
those are
love it.
fun.
And we have raised beds and
Fresh herbs. I have a
yeah.
tower full of herbs
Yep,
growing
me too.
outside.
It's so easy. And that is definitely an easy
It's
place.
satisfying. It's
Yeah.
satisfying to go and make a meal or go get things that you grew, and you have friends or you have dinner over, or just for yourself, and everything came from the tower. I had to go to the tower and get the
Right.
oregano.
Tower
And
dinner.
by the way, I only plant one oregano because you'll have enough for everybody in the neighborhood.
I know this is
That
true.
stuff grows.
Yeah, and you can dry it like in a dehydrator, or where you live, probably outside in the sun for a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. It's been such a joy to have you on today. And I look forward to sharing this with the world and helping them to learn about skincare and health and how amazing it has been to have you on.
Oh, thank you.